So now we should see what guideline we are talking about. Is somebody says that page object model is a good way of designing the framework, so it will have some benefits on our test cases. If we look at our previous if you look at this, then what we are talking about is now our test cases will not be dependent on Selenium directly. Previously we had automated test cases that were directly consuming Selenium. Now page object model is delinking this dependency that test cases had on Selenium, and page object model says test cases you consume me, I will be consuming Selenium internally. So this dependency of test cases on Selenium we are breaking, and we are saying test cases will be dependent on our framework, and in nutshell all the page activity will be routed through page object model. Fair? And that is what we are going to talk about now. So we are going to compare our old style tests with the page object model test. So let's say we are automating a test case, and the purpose of the test case is we will open the browser, we will go to google.com, we will type in a query, so we'll type in being 0 and we'll search for being 0. So if we have to automate this test using Selenium knowledge that we have gained, how do we do? So every comment written here needs to be converted into code. So let's step by step fill in this code and tell me what is the code we will be writing for the first comment. Create new instance of a driver. Yeah, Anderson, that's correct. It depends on which browser we are testing with. Yeah, so let's assume we are testing with Firefox browser. And that's a valid question. Yeah, here I have not mentioned which browser to use, and that should be asked. So great question. Yeah, okay, that's correct. So we should be writing web driver. Driver is equal to Firefox driver. So we open the driver object. We create the driver object which will launch the browser for us. Next we are saying navigate to the right place. And right place here we are talking about is google.com. That is where we are going. So what is the next line? Okay, yeah, Betsy, that is correct. On driver we will be doing driver.manage.set timeout and making the browser full screen, but for this particular test assume that we are keeping those complexities apart, because we are focusing on how we are interacting with the page. Right, so browser configuration also, yeah, we have done in each and every test case till today, but right now intentionally we are leaving those lines. I hope everyone is clear. This question that has come, it is like whenever we used to create the driver object, we used to make the browser full screen and we used to set the timeouts, implicit page timeout, and that is what we are not mentioning here. That is intentional. Okay, so navigating to the right place, a lot of answers have come. Yes, driver dot get, and one more answer that we got is, yeah, driver dot navigate. Yeah, we can use navigation or we can use the get command to open the google.com. Fair. Next we have to find the search box. So how do we find the search box on a web page? Awesome, everyone was very quick in typing it. Yes, so we use the browser inspector and we locate the ID or name of the element. So here let's say we use find element by ID. So ID of the box is Q, and we take it back in a web element. Next, how do we search for a query? And I've specified here query is being 0. Awesome, yes, send text, send keys, yes. So Q dot send keys, and we send our query, and yeah, after that also there will be a lot of steps, but we are stopping here because this will help us clearly understand this is my test which was using Selenium directly. So this test has a direct dependency on Selenium. So test consumes Selenium, and in the beginning of the framework we talked about we don't want our tests to be dependent on Selenium. We want our tests to consume page object model, and page object model will be internally consuming Selenium, and both these things will become part of our framework. So this is without framework, this is with framework. So we see that this test that we have looked at, this is without framework. Now what will this test case look like when we have created our page object model? So let's see. So same test we are automating using page object model, and we'll be surprised to see how many lines of code we have to write for that in the test code. Right now we are not talking about the framework code, we are talking only about the test code, because first we should know how our code will be consumed by the test cases, then we will be able to design it better. Yeah, so our page object model said we have to create a class for every page of the application. Here which page are we talking about? Yeah, so we are talking about dashboard page. So in terms of Google, can we say it is Google search page or home page of Google? Yeah. Yeah, so let's assume we have defined a class in our framework. The name of the class is Google search page. How do we create object of that class? Okay, yes, we use new keyword. So first we create the object of our search page class, assuming we have already coded it. After we have created the object of that page, next thing we have to do is we'll simply say sp.search_results, because search results is an action on that page, and we are making a method for any action on the page. That is what page object model said, that convert the page into a class, and in that class have data members as web elements and methods as the functions. Page actions as methods. So that is what we have. So these 4 lines of code that we had written earlier has become 2 lines of code over here. And can someone notice what is the another key difference that we see in these 2 test cases? Okay, that's awesome, Maria. Yes. So second test case that we have written, it does not know anything about Selenium. It does not have any dependency on Selenium. So we are able to cut that dependency. You can see both these test cases. First one uses Selenium directly. So it uses WebDriver, it uses driver.get, web element, send keys. And in second test case, our test has become completely independent of the Selenium. Now what would be benefit of having a test case like this, which does not have dependency with Selenium? Though we know we are using Selenium, team also wide open knows that our test team consumes Selenium, then what is the benefit of test having no dependency on Selenium? Any answers? Okay, brilliant. Yes, Michael says if we design tests like this, then anyone without knowledge of Selenium can automate the test cases. Okay, that's a great benefit. So in case you have people in your team who do not know Selenium, you design a framework for them and you ask them to automate the test cases using your framework, which is a lot easier to learn than the Selenium framework. Because if there is a manual tester who is doing testing every day, he goes to the search page, he goes and types search query, he gets the results, validates, he can simply use the second model because that is the flow he is used to. So if you can convert his flow into a framework, he will be able to consume it. Yeah. So one benefit, which is a very valid benefit that Michael has pointed out, is a person without knowledge of Selenium can automate the test case. Yes. What is the other benefit? Okay, yeah, Betsy, that's correct. Reduce lines of code, that is another benefit we are getting. Any other benefit? 2 benefits we have talked about. Reduce lines of code. In order to automate test cases, we don't need to know Selenium. Only people who are developing framework will be required to know Selenium. Fair. Deepak, any answer from your side? Okay. Test code is easy to maintain. Okay. Deepak's answers are more like an architect answers, which is good. That is going 4 steps ahead. But can you please simplify this answer? How does it make our test code more maintainable? Okay. Yeah, I guess. Okay, let me say what you're trying to say, and please correct me if my understanding about your point is wrong. So what Deepak is trying to say is, he says if developer changes the ID of this page or ID of this element from queue to something else, and if more number of test cases are having direct dependency on Selenium, multiple test cases will be using the same find by element and they will be querying the element with this ID. If developer has changed that on the web page, then in first case we have to change it at every place we have used in the test code. But if we use the second way, then this change has to be made only in one place, that is Google search page class. Is that correct, Deepak? That is what you were mentioning. Okay, yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, so maintenance becomes easy. Tomorrow, if developer says I'm changing the ID of every element on the page, please upgrade your tests to accommodate that. Then making that change here is very easy because we know internally we are querying or we are using that element ID inside the Google search page. Because in Google search page we are doing the same query. We are using driver.find element inside the search results function. So one place change, every test benefits from it. Yes, so maintenance becomes easy. Good point. Anything else? Okay, yes, Maria, that's valid point, that this way we can automate fast. We can quickly automate our test cases because writing test code has become very easy. So even if someone says, a manager says that we have 10 more test cases to automate this week, in this model it takes longer, in this model it takes less time. Great. So everyone sees there is a benefit in moving to page object model rather than having direct dependency on Selenium. Is there someone who doesn't agree to this? And it's okay not to agree and have reasons about it, because typically any interviews we attend, they don't focus on the what part, they focus on the why part. Why did you move to page object model? Why did you design your class like this? So these are the kind of questions that are asked. So that's why we are spending huge amount of time today on today. Complete session is given to this discussion. What is page object model, how we design classes, why we design it this way, why should I use page object model. Okay, great. So everyone seems convinced